Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. It is Sunday, the 16th of July. Carlee Russell was found last night. This is the woman that disappeared after she was on the phone with family saying she saw a toddler wandering on the side of the road. And she went to investigate, and she just disappeared. Her phone and her personal belongings were in her car, and her car was on the side of the road. But her family and the police didn't know what happened to her. And then she showed up last night and was taken to a hospital. The details on this case as of, 11:30 in the morning Pacific time, there's no details on it. Other than the police said that they wanted to give, Carlee and her family some time to sort of come together and come down from this traumatic event. But it's like, wow, as I intellectually sit down and think about it, things just don't make sense. Like, if there was a toddler on the side of the road, how come she just didn't get it in her car and go to a hospital or a police station or something like that? What would cause her to, not be able to get back into her car? Was it delusion? Did she see a manifestation of a spirit? Was she abducted? It's hard to fathom. I mean, okay, if she got the child and let's say there was a house nearby, would you just leave your car like that and walk to that house, and then, maybe the family abducts you? It's wild, the possibilities. So I'm going to throw cards on it. It's very much a blind read, and I'll try and figure out what the cards are telling me as to what happened on there. Again, entertainment purposes only. I'm glad she was found. I'm glad she appears to be okay. And I realize in the next 24, 48, 72 hours, we'll find out what happened. But this is great practice for me to see what Spirit can communicate to me and how well I can interpret the cards on this. So, Spirit, what can you share with me about the Carlee Russell case? Here we go. Entertainment purposes only, folks. Let's see what we got. And for this reading, I'm busting out a piece of rose quartz, but this is a special kind of rose quartz. So I thought that would be helpful in this situation. What do we got? Offers. Dissatisfaction, not liking things not done right, maybe not providing a satisfactory explanation as to what happened, and moving forward with things, a plan, things in place. My initial reaction on this is to say there was no toddler involved with this, that was part of a story, part of a plan that was being put together. But when she's interviewed by police, her story's inconsistent. They're not buying what she's saying. And there may be something underneath here. Ace of Wands. Strong action. Going forward with having this great idea and then putting that idea putting that idea to work. I really don't like, I'm sorry. Please understand from my point of view already, it's like, I don't want to say this person was lying. I really don't. I don't want to. I want to think that she's okay. Things don't make sense, but that doesn't necessarily take me to the place where she's lying. But these initial three cards are telling me that it was almost like she wanted to concoct this story either to write a book or to become famous or to worry family member. There's something that's not right here. And let's see what the cards explain more. But I just wanted to interrupt and say, I apologize. I'm really not trying to diminish anything that this woman's been through, especially if she's been through a lot and I'm misinterpreting these cards. I guess that's where I'm going with it. I'd feel awful that if she was abducted and here I am saying, oh, she created a story. I'd be such a jerk for saying that. So, understand. Okay, Chariot. Okay, so the story's not adding up. We have an idea for a plan. We put the plan into motion, and once it started, there it goes, and maybe it was out of control. What we might find out is that she was out of balance in her life, or if this is something, if I'm interpreting right, and this is kind of concocted, things started moving, proceeding a little bit out of control, and she might have had to abort. But there's a lot of movement in here, and a big idea and a lot of movement. Current situation, nightmare. If she was abducted, let's say, for instance, she found this kid lying on, wandering inside of the road, and she took action for this, and then this is somebody abducting her and making her life hell, or she escaped and she's now safe. That would all fit in this one. But if I'm reading this right, as my gut's telling me that this might be a concocted story, the story started getting out of control and she didn't know how to handle it, not to mention all the stress it was causing on family and friends. So on the high energy, she found a toddler. She tried to rescue the toddler. Something happened that was out of her control. Again, it could be like an abduction or something like that. She escaped and now is dealing with the emotional consequences of it. On the low energy, it's the stress of her life caught up with her. Queen of Swords. Okay, so over it all, there's a harsh decision or some harsh guidance going on here. So like if she was concocting a plan, somebody told her she needed to stop, that this wasn't fair to everyone and there would be consequences for it. If she was abducted, for instance, then she had to make a harsh decision of saving herself and maybe leaving the toddler behind. Outcome, or the lesson to be learned, is the Ten of Swords. God, these are horrible cards. Is that it was the end. Again, if it was the end, maybe she's worried that toddler is going to be hurt. But again, I think this is somebody got through to her and got to her better judgment, saying you need to stop. You need to put a stop to these actions because they're hurting people and it's going to negatively impact you. In this case, outcome, the Lover's card. I think reunited back with family, and maybe if there's some mental health issues with her, the family is going to get her help, or maybe understand that she was reaching out for help and they need to take her in and give her the help she needs. If this truly was a case of like her finding a child and being abducted and having to make this awful decision of leaving, she had to save herself in this case, that it might be the end of the child. It could very well be that the police do find this family and maybe this child really wasn't being hurt at all. But that's just not what I'm getting with this. I'm sorry. And again, I realize I've apologized multiple times for it. It's a blind reading. It's not adding up. It just isn't adding up. And I'm trying to take the intellectual part of myself out of it. I even let off saying, hey, there's weird stuff going on here. And, I allow for all sorts of possibilities. There was a toddler. It was a manifestation of a spirit of a toddler. She was delusional and thought she was chasing a toddler and there was nothing there. Or there was a toddler and she was kidnapped. The one thing I didn't throw out there was no toddler and she was coming up with a scam or a story or something like that to get herself attention. But that's what I'm getting from this, is that this was a way to get attention to, does my family really love me? What happens if I just disappeared? What would they do? And then, you watch yourself on the news and you get to see what the family would do. Again, the police obviously will interview her and they will try and find out what happens because they're going to want to investigate this. Not that she'll be in trouble, but they want to investigate it because they want to know if there was a crime. If there's a toddler running around, they're going to want to find out about that and the family and who the toddler is. And if she was abducted, they're going to definitely want to find the abductors for this. And if she just disappeared, they're going to want to try and find out, well, was there a toddler here? What happened? And ultimately, I think what we're going to find is that, well, let's see. Let's ask. Ultimately, what do we find out about this case? That was the energy around it. Ultimately, what do we find out? Or ultimately, what do we think about Carlee Russell once all the facts have been revealed in this case? I'm not going to be surprised for even a moment if the moon card comes out, okay? As a signifier. 1 in 72. Moon card. Nope. Page of Pentacles. I sometimes use the Page of Pentacles as going forward with a message, a verbal message. This could, and it could also be a small money idea. But let's see. What's under this? And Carlee Russell, I imagine, is fairly young. Judgment. That's not good. Oh, dear. Devil. And Page of Cups. And then the 9 of Cups. Ugh. Okay. What are we going to find out? Again, I think this was something to gain attention, either as that was going to be, writing a book, going on the interview circuits, getting some fame and fortune or something along those lines. But, center underneath it is the Devil card. That this was a bad idea. This was a false idea that she changed herself to. She basically, I'll go to any means in order to get this story because maybe it makes her feel better or valued. But there's judgment here for her actions. And there's probably mental instability. This just this person's got something wrong with them, and they need help. And I think that this person thought that by setting up this situation, they were going to set themselves up really well going forward. Again, there would be some fame, there might be some fortune that goes with it, but it's just one of those things they didn't think all the way through, and it's going to come up and bite them in the butt. Now, again, entertainment purposes only. That's kind of my read on it. I'm not saying I want to be wrong on this one. I will say that if I'm wrong on this one, I really do apologize to her family and to her for that. But it's a blind read, and that's kind of what I'm seeing with the cards. And I would be very curious to see what happens. Oh, looking at that last reading, let's say it was the high energy and she actually was kidnapped. Then there was going to be like a small ransom or something like that was going to be put together. And then that double card would be, that family holding her for ransom. You got the judgment in the Page of Cups, that they would be caught and the family themselves would be found delusional. So on the high energy, if being kidnapped is high energy, kidnapped, escaped, everything should work out fine. They'll be found out, the kidnappers will be found out and held accountable. Lower energy, this is a plan for self-enrichment. That's going to be revealed. And she probably has some mental health issues or emotional issues that need to be addressed. Okay. Thank you for watching this video. I do appreciate the support my channel's been receiving from you all. And I guess we'll find out how accurate this reading is in the next 48, 72 hours. Have a great weekend, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.